All right, so we're back, and this is a continuation of the video that I did on the file saving dialog, the save file dialog, and the open file dialog. And we have an issue with the way we did it. The issue is that it doesn't really follow the tenets of object-oriented programming in that we have this inside of the window class. So we have our main window class, and here's our main window XAML. So this is a view, and we have our view saving files and opening files. The logic is in there. So what we want to be able to do is get this out of here, basically. We want to create a utility that will do this for us. Instead of having the logic here, we'll have all the logic to open and close and save files in one location. And you'll see how much more simple the code would be once we do something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here inside of my Solutions Explorer, and I'm going to right click on that and go to Add, and I'm going to add a new class. I'm going to go ahead and name that class File Utils, or File Utils, that's fine. Once I do that, technically what I want to do is refactor this. I want to bring, let me push this over here. So I want to bring this functionality into my file utils. So the first thing I'm going to do, which is going to break my program, is I'm going to take this one at a time. I'm going to take this save file procedure, and I'm going to cut it out of there. Save everything, and I should get an error right there, which is good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here into my file utils, and I'm going to hit paste. I'm going to paste that in there. Now I already get these errors because obviously I have not brought in the libraries that I should have in so far. So I'm just going to address that first, and secondly what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out of this and bring it up there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to import the same thing I imported here. I don't need it here anymore. Actually, I don't need either one of these here anymore. So I'm going to take those out of there, and then I'm going to put it in this class. So that got rid of that one error. The next thing I want to be able to do is actually I want to change the name of this. I don't want it SFile dialog, and I'm going to want this to be private. So I'm just going to change this to private. And secondly, I'm going to change this to SFile dialog to SaveFile dialog underscore SaveFile dialog. Since it's private, I don't really care about the underscore. So I'm going to double click that and hit Control RR, and now I can change the name of that. So I'm going to put underscore save. And what it will do is find all the instances of that and save it. And I can hit enter. And so I got that settled. Now the next thing I want to be able to do is where it's going to save, what it's going to save. So before I had it going into the text editor. Obviously that can't be the case right now. So what I'm going to want to do, well, not going to the text editor, what it was doing was taking what was in the text editor and writing all of that. Okay, so I'm going to change this to another variable here. So I'm going to change that to something like content. Perfect. Now this actually should work, and the only reason why it will not work, I'm just to tell you ahead of time, because this is private. So if you're not familiar with scope, you understand that if it's private, it's only going to work in this class, in this file utilities class. So I'm going to give you an example of that. I'm going to leave it as private, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to come back here, And now you see my save file doesn't work. But what I need to do is bring in this file utilities. So I'm going to import the file utilities or create a variable that will use the file utilities. So I'm going to dim myself a variable called futils as a file utils, and I can say as new as a shortcut. There we go. And now all I need to do is take this futils and I'm going to try to call futils.SaveFile, but you notice I can't get to it. There is no save file because over here it's private. So what I'm going to have to do is put that to public. Now once I do that, and actually I want this capitalized because it is public, so once I do that, I go back here and you'll notice here that if I do file utils dot save file, you'll see that it shows up. Now I am getting an error only because my save file requires there to be some content, that content can be saved. So then I got to go back here and I can say, okay, what was the content I wanted to save in here? And basically the content was the txt, the text, txt editor.txt. So that should work. I'm only getting an error here because I took out the file, systems IO. So for right now, I'm not going to be able to open a file. So I'm going to go ahead and comment that out using this here. I highlight everything and click the comment. And then I'm going to go ahead and comment this out. So the only thing I want to be able to do is save a file. So right now, here's my button save, and here's my save file utilities being used. And I can go ahead and run that. And I'm going to just do a test here. And I'm going to save that file. And I'm going to okay, hello all, save, and I'm going to close that, and I'm just going to click save file again just so we can see that it did save. There's that file right there. Okay, and if I select it, you'll see so I'm going to select it and then I'm going to open it, and you'll see that test is in there, what I wrote into the text box. So good, that works. Now all we have to do is refactor the open file. So let's just do that really quick. I'm just going to go back here. And I'm going to uncomment this part. Go up here and uncomment. Then I'm just going to cut it out. And I'm going to uncomment this so I can get that error there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this futils, and I'll hit dot open file, which is fine. I expect there to be an error there, but I expect the error to be gone once I fix it inside of my class. So I'm gonna go here to my class, go ahead and paste that. I'm gonna convert this to public right here. All right, and so all of this is fine, except I want to bring this up here. I want to follow the same thing that I did before. I want everything to be consistent. So instead of O file dialog, I want that to be more readable. Control RR, and I'm going to go at the beginning of that and put out underscore open and enter. All of this is fine. This right here is fine. All of this remains exactly the same, and the only thing I need to change is I need some way to get this information back. I need some way to get this data back. So instead of this being a subroutine, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this out of a function. And what it will return is that information. So if this is true, it'll return that. Else, it will return nothing. So that looks like that works. And let's go back and see if we still have an error here. And no, we don't have an error. So we should be able to open that file. Now, the only thing we have here is that when we open it, it is not going into the text box here. It's just returning that information. So when we get back here, what we should be doing here is txt. We're going to put that into the text box. So txt editor.content.text will equal whatever that returns. Okay, so now let's go ahead and hit F5 and run that. And I'm going to go ahead and open. I'm going to choose that hello text, and there it goes. It opens it up in there. And I can also go save. Well, first of all, let me add some stuff to this. So I add that to it. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to save it over that. Hit save. It's going to ask me if I want to replace that. I'm going to put yes. And then I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to close my application, run it again, and open that file. And there you have it. So now we were able to not only in the first video create an open file dialog and create in the second video we created, I think, the SaveFile dialog. I'm not sure if that's the correct order that we did it. But in the end, after we got everything working, then we refactored it. And now if you look at our code now, as opposed to our code before, all of this goes to one class that deals with all our file import and export, which puts us closer to a more object-oriented programming concept with our coding. So we have our file utilities here, and we have our main window here, and the concerns are separated. The main window does what a main window does, and the file utilities help us out with files. And so if I had anything else I needed to do with this, I would actually go ahead and create other utilities inside of here regarding the files. So hopefully this is helpful to you. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section below, and make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.